going on, guys? I'm here with Patrick and Mike, and we're going to be interviewing whoever wants to be interviewed. And we're doing a giveaway at the beginning of the stream and again at the end. So I'll be doing just the resume pack. Mike is also doing a giveaway on his stream. He's not online yet. And then Patrick's also doing one on his. So check those out if you want. I think I'm live. Let me know if you get the notification. Hope so. Should be.
I want to mute myself when I'm typing and stuff.
Okay. What's going on? What's going on? Hi, Nick. So I got chat in the middle. Got a little bit of an updated. Got Streamception here. Mike, Patrick. Have an interview next week. Stephanie, do you want to hop on in? So all you got to do is join the Discord and then go into the call-in channel, and we'll drag you in and we'll give you some interview questions. That's the plan. Ashley, what's up? How's it going? Archie, how's it going? Yeah, so just hop on in. We'll bring you into the call, or go to the call-in channel on Discord, and we'll drag you in. Just want to share that you got a job as a data scientist junior, and I owe you a lot. You don't owe me anything, dude. You wish you were home. Interview tomorrow. Michael, what's up? If you're on Twitch watching, there's a link down below. But congratulations. Did they want a lot of math? Caesar, what up? So right now nobody's in the Discord. So it used to be like call in from your phone, but I changed it because I want to drive traffic to the Discord. Pure Noob, what's up? How am I doing, dude? I'm good. How are you, man? I'm gonna have my Diet Pepsi. Go ahead, judge me. It's fine. You're the man from South Africa. I've been helpful. That's all I'm trying to do. Good luck with Nick. Good luck. I'm gonna mute this for a second. Hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. Let's talk about that video I posted yesterday. Absolutely terrible. I tried to do Mr. Beast and it just didn't work. I tried to be like 24 hours, random plane ticket. What could happen? And I don't know. It just didn't work out. But all right, Raven is here. We're gonna bring him in. I'm gonna unmute. Can I bring him in?
Hello.
There we go.
Yeah.
Raven, what up?
Hey, what's up, guys?
All right, what's your position? And we'll ask some relevant questions.
I freelance. How's it going? It's a freelance WordPress developer at the moment.
What is your business proposition? Like, what do you typically say? What's your opener?
Sorry, Josh. There's a lot of lag, so it's a big gap in between questions, and everything's overrunning.
Mute the stream. Just listen to Discord.
All right, I got it. Okay. Go ahead. Now, what was your question again?
What's your business proposition? Like, what do you say when you open? You're like, hey, you know.
I usually start off with I try to be completely honest as I possibly can. I'm freelance through a company right now, so I do a lot of work for them. But I've also had a company in Jacksonville reach out to me numerous times because I was very honest, and they said that was what the client liked, was how I told them I was new and I was learning, but this was what I can do. When I showed them my portfolio and everything, they were very interested, and they've actually called me back twice now for work that they've needed done.
But did you go to them first? Like, how did that work?
Oh yeah, I went to them first, and they said that they didn't have a position for me at the time, and but to keep checking back, and I did, and I was persistent, and that paid off as well.
Do you go local?
I am. It's like maybe a 65-minute or 65-mile drive for me, which they had concerns with that first, but when they seen how eager I was, they kind of waived it.
What do you how do you set up charging? How do you charge people?
Actually, the company that I use, that I go through is called T-Sheets. It's like basically a time card, and it's where you punch in and out, and the company pays me through the Cash App, which is pretty awesome because I got a card and it tracks every transaction, including payments and all that stuff. So T-Sheets is it's really useful. If I can get the actual link for it.
Do you have a portfolio? People in the chat will probably want to see your portfolio.
I do. It's let me get to it. There's actually one that I built by following a course, and shoot, my E key just flew off. That's nice. I built it following a course, and I'm in the process of building another, which is completely my design. It's not from anybody else's code or any content management systems or anything like that. So some may recognize the the site, some may not.
Can you drop it in the stream chat? Oh
yeah, I
oh,
just
you did. Okay, yeah, I have to allow it. What's up, Ernst? How do you know if that job is secure? Like, how do you go about making sure they're going to want to keep employing you? Because if you're working freelance, I mean, do you have other people lined up in the pipeline? How's that look?
Yeah, always. I don't ever just rely on that, because as a freelance, I mean, they could need you one week and not need you for weeks after that, and then you're kind of just stuck with some downtime. So luckily, with one of the companies that employs me regularly, I stick with them, and I don't want to say I do my best work with them, but I try to stay very consistent and very attention to detail with them, so they'll keep bringing me back. And at the same time, I use other services to try to get my my portfolio out there and things like that, so I can at least try to have some steady stream of income. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't.
How do you budget? Like, if this is your main gig, how do you stay budgeted, making sure that you're...
Well, luckily I have a really cool fiance, and she really helps out. She's a business owner also. So I mean, I try to not have any big overhead fees. I try to keep my spending minimal. I mean, so I don't go out every single night, and I don't eat out every night. I don't go to the bars and stuff like that. I'd like to have like a more social life, but in the meantime, until I get on with a more stable company, I really watch my spending, and I've cut back on a lot of things that I don't need as well. Like I used to be really big into gaming, World of Warcraft. I cut that subscription out, just so I don't have $14 a month coming out, things like that.
Makes sense. Patrick, Mike, you guys go for it. I'll answer some questions in chat while you guys talk.
Well, do we want to do like a structure as if it's a real interview? Is that the point?
No, not really. I mean, you don't make it weird. You can just ask him questions like I was. I was just curious about his business side. You can go ahead.
What's your favorite plugin for WordPress?
To be honest with you, I don't really work with a whole lot of plugins. I know a lot of people that they do, but probably the one that I like using the most is the I cannot remember the name of it right now. It's the hero menu. Is probably the one that because it cuts back on a lot of the work time that it takes to put into creating a menu. So it's basically already created. You just change a couple of things up, and you're good to go. It's all responsive, so you don't have to worry about that either.
Nice.
The header, the menu buttons and everything have always been a pain for me, even when I'm coding from scratch. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out.
I spent this morning at least like 4 or 5 hours just trying to figure out quad menu.
Yeah, exactly.
What's been your hardest challenge as a freelance developer?
Getting more work, but the thing is, if you stay with it, like if you have downtime and you keep putting your name out there, you keep applying, you keep using things like Upwork and freelance.com, it's you're bound to get hits, but you just got to remain consistent and stay with it, because if you just kick back and like, I'll worry about it next week, you're taking a chance of having like two weeks or 2+ weeks of downtime of no jobs coming in. So I stay on the hustle, I stay applying, I stay searching, because you never know when the next job will come in.
Let me ask you a question. How do you deal with clients that are like, why don't we just use Squarespace or Wix? Like, what do you say?
Well, I tell them that, you're more than welcome to use something like that, and I explain to them what the concept of Squarespace and Wix is you basically got to deal with their ads unless you pay for, unless you pay more for it, which is essentially what you'd be doing for someone like me to build a website. It's on a more personal level. When I talk to them, it's more of a direct contact. You can call me anytime. You can email me anytime. It doesn't matter what it is. It's kind of hard to compete with something like that when people just think there's not a whole lot that goes into building a website. Because the thing I hear the most out of somebody is, well, you can add this. That's easy enough, right? That's easy enough, right? I hear that so much, and I'm like, well, if it was easy, you'd be doing it. So,
how do you charge? Do you make them charge up front, in the middle, and then at the end, or you do hourly? How do you do that?
It depends on the size of the site. If it's a very large project, I do it in sections. It's usually in 3 sections, depending on, like I said, depending on how much it is. If it's something small, then I charge by the hour. Especially like if the site needs maintenance, like monthly maintenance. If it's not a whole lot, if I'm not doing a whole lot of image uploads or a large overhaul of the website, then I just charge by the hour. But if it's something that if it's steady, then it's like a flat fee. I have a client right now that I charge $500 a month for, which really helps my income because, that extra $500 comes in at the end of the month. It's helped me out a few times because it really is with their website is constantly changing, constantly getting updated, new photos and things like that for the services that they offer.
How do you structure if the client's not happy, but you've already been paid?
Oh, like I said, if it's not, I try not to get too much of a back and forth with the client at that point. If it's something that they're just generally not like, oh, I wish it was, the header was blue, or if it had this picture on the header, then I'll accommodate. But if they start going with an overall, with an overhaul of the entire website, I bring it back to the contract. And I say, at this point, you were happy with it and everything was fine all the way up to the end. But now there's a problem, and I tell, I try to be fair, and I just say, I don't mind redoing it how you would rather have it, or how you want it at this point, but it is going to cost.
What's your favorite project up to now throughout your whole development career?
I worked on it's South by Southwest, and I did a lot of work on that website. And the reason being is a lot of tech companies involved with it, a lot of bands and things like that. My fiance is a hippie. She wanted to go, but unfortunately I had to stay home and work on the website. So that was probably the funnest project so far.
Cool. Thanks for sharing.
Have you ever had any bad experiences with clients before, i.e. could be like negative, or they just were not very happy with something? And if how would you deal with that?
There was a client that I had once that I went and actually did a face-to-face meeting with. They didn't like the price that someone had quoted them for a website and asked if I would come and talk with them and about building the site. And I said, sure. And so I went there. They showed me basically the grounds, and it was they wanted basically a website built just what they do there. And it was this guy, he had tons of money, and it was like this big farmhouse and this huge barn, and they throw all these crazy wild parties. And it was basically just a guy saying, hey, this is what I do. I'm rich and I want you to be impressed. So I went over it with him and I said, this is what, I can do. And this is what I can add. This is how long it'll take. And this is the price, which was the price that I quoted him was 90% cheaper than the original price, because I knew I could do it in a couple of days. It wasn't a big deal. And I knew the guy through a friend, and he was still aggravated with it. He was just like, oh man, $500. That's crazy. And I'm like, and he's like, well, can't you just do this? That's easy enough, right? And I was like, no. And he wanted me to come down the price, and I was set on the price. And at the end of the day, I didn't get the client because I'm not going to get beat up on the price. I would rather lose out on a client instead of just having to drop my price for every person that comes along just to be able to make a client.
How do you, can we ask what your rate would be? So let's say I want a 10-page website, just a basic static site, no backend, no login. How do you charge on that?